Hey, Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakakadash. That's all praises who the world calls God in Jesus Christ. Their true names in the Hebrew is Yahweh for the Heavenly Father, and Yahushai for his beloved Son. I also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to a hopeful elect, preaching his word in truth and sincerity. This is the brother Tazabah in the Great Millstone, Arizona camp. Lord will, with another video to edify. And I wanted to go into this thing, the plagues, and especially this locust plague. And I'm gonna focus on famine, man. I did a video last about the famine of the word, but there's also a famine being prepared. Things happen in the spirit first, and then in the carnal. So this is what's happening in the world, and this locust plague. This is an amazing video, by the way. If brothers get time, I suggest you look this up. Watch this video. It's a lot of good information about how the Lord is cooking up the plague of famine in the world. So I'm gonna play this video, Salakia, and Lord willing, it's edifying.
Deal. Excuse me, Maverick. Shh. He hears the word locust. It's our rooster, and he thinks I'm hungry, right? First of all, there are hundreds of billions. I mean, there are billions.
The United Nations says the region needs around $76 million to combat the crisis. Officials warn the locust outbreak will spread across the entire continent of Africa.
And this is a very serious problem. You've read some reports saying that the locusts are eating enough food to feed a couple thousand people. That's in a few hours. We're actually talking about in a 24-hour period, these swarms are eating enough food to feed 35,000 people. And the swarms are expected to grow by 500-fold between now and June. So this is something that we all need to be paying attention to, because this is going to cause a food shortage in Africa, but that food shortage is going to continue to spill over in what I would consider an already delicate environment for crops. I think the coronavirus has really kind of buried this story, and along with some other things, but this is a very, very big story. It's getting bigger. The only way that they're going to be able to get this under control is by expensing a lot of pesticides that are going to cause a lot of problems. I think that this is going to be an issue that we're not done seeing the end of anytime soon. So basically, these locusts are grasshoppers. They're a type of grasshopper that live in the desert. They're desert grasshoppers, and they basically put their eggs into moist soil for the baby grasshoppers to be born, and then they immediately need vegetation. What happened is, back in 2018, we saw a lot of rain in May in the southern desert of Omar, very remote part of our planet. Nobody knew what was going on. And then we saw a lot of rain again in October. So in that May rain, what we had was a perfect breeding and reproduction environment for the desert grasshopper. And each generation grows by 20 to 40 times actually. And so in October you had a lot of heavy rains again, and these heavy rains are creating the ability for vegetation growth out in the desert, as well as that damp soil that they like to lay their eggs in, and they basically become a larger and larger swarm. After the
Get this precept. Salakia. Isaiah 29:6, thou shalt be visited of Yahweh host with thunder, and with earthquakes, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and flame in the flame of devouring fire. The storm and tempest he talked about just now. The world's been getting hit with drenching torrential rains, man, everywhere. And it's breeding the ground for these locusts to grow. So I'm gonna go back to the video.
The October rains of 2018, the swarm grew and moved. They start to move. They can move in swarms up to 90 miles a day. I'm going to get a little bit more about this grasshopper, because it's a very fascinating grasshopper. But they can move by 90 miles a day. And then they moved into Iran and Yemen. And normally Yemen would battle this problem, but because Yemen has been stuck in basically a war zone for the past couple years, Yemen wasn't able to expense the resources to battle this grasshopper problem, this locust problem when it came up. Yemen has always had a good first line of defense, and
Get this next one. Isaiah 47:11. It says, "Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt not be able to put it off. Desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know." You see that all this stuff is coming to pass. And like he said, man, Yemen would usually address the issue, but they weren't able to because why? Wars were going on. So they couldn't address it.
You can look at this situation and see where it started to spiral out of control. Because then again in 2019, what did we have? A lot of rain. We're in a period of grand solar minimum, which typically coincides with a lot of regional downpours. And so these locust swarms are swarming to these different locations. They got hit with another downpour of rain, which gave them, again, the perfect breeding environment. And they've pretty much had that scenario. They crossed the Gulf and went into, East Africa, and they've just been, through Kenya, Somalia, all of these East African countries. I think there's something like somewhere between 20 and 30 countries that have now been in some way impacted by these swarms of locusts. So when this very, tannish looking grasshopper out in the desert is able to reproduce like this and is able to thrive and becomes a part of these swarms, it actually goes through a metamorphosis, kind of like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type scenario, or think of the Incredible Hulk. It changes the dynamics of this grasshopper, and it turns actually kind of a yellow and black instead of that desert tan that it used to be as it goes through this metamorphosis. And again, what happens to the Incredible Hulk when it gets really big and mean is his muscles grow. And so these grasshoppers have these growing muscles. They've got to eat more food. They're on a plant-based diet. They got to get that protein somehow, which means they need a lot of carbs.
High-tech investor Jeff Brown has a powerful.
This is about to be the part coming up.
Last time Jeff Brown made.
And grains are a great source to get those carbs and proteins. And so you're going to start to see these locusts swarming into these countries and going after the crops. The crops become the best thing for them to eat. Now that yellow and black color they turn actually means that they're toxic. And that's a warning sign to predators that animal is toxic, because they are, as they go through that metamorphosis, they're actually driven to eat plant toxins. Those plant toxins change the biological makeup of the grasshopper. They become toxic to predators because their color change tells predators, I can't eat you anymore. And that just further enables the swarms to grow and become out of control. And this is going to continue until we hit a dry spell and they aren't able to reach areas of that dampness that they're able to recreate. And
now I'll say to you brothers, man, if you get a chance, please look up that video and watch it. It's a really good video. Now I'm gonna get some precepts and I gotta go back to the plantation, man. This is 2 Ezra 15:11. It says but I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy the land thereof. Now Egypt was smitten with locusts, right? So the Lord's going to smite this world with plagues just as he did in the past, man. Sorry, I'm spelling it wrong. Too many C's. Yeah. This is Exodus 10 and 3. It says, and Moses and Aaron came in unto Pharaoh and said unto him, thus saith Yahweh power of the Hebrews, how long wilt thou refuse to humble thyself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. Else, if thou refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow will I bring the locusts into thy coast, and they shall cover the face of the earth. Then he say that these locusts are the size of major cities. You know, it says that one cannot be able to see the earth, and they shall eat the residue of that which is escaped, which remaineth unto you from the hell, and shall eat every tree which groweth for you out of the field. And they shall fill thy houses, and the houses of all thy servants, the houses of all the Egyptians, which neither thy fathers nor thy fathers' fathers have seen since the day that since the day that they were upon the earth unto this day. And he turned himself and went out from Pharaoh. So the Lord is smiting Egypt with plagues as before, man. These locusts ain't no joke, bro. And now the Lord has got it to such a way that it's crazy seeing how the Lord's doing this stuff. And the more information coming out, man, we're seeing that like the scriptures say, before these things came to pass, the Lord considered all this. Man, this is a perfectly thought out plan on how to destroy these people. And it's only bringing famine because now you're sitting there having these huge swarms of locusts that can grow within the next 5 months, 4 months, going into June, that is expected to grow 500 times over. Then the scriptures say, let me see if I find this. Pause this. All right. 2nd Ezra 16:21, it says, behold, victuals shall be sold good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. You see? Isn't that not happening? Aren't evils growing? The Lord's multiplying these swarms of locusts within the next. It's expected that he multiply them within the next 4 months, because we're towards the end of February, the mid-February, right? And it's expected that this swarm will grow 500 times. You know, this all goes into famine, man. Ezekiel 5:16. You know what? I got to start up on this. I'll start at 11. It says, wherefore as I live, say Yahweh power, surely because thou hast defiled my sanctuary with all thy detestable things, with all thine abominations, therefore will I diminish thee. Neither shall mine eye spare, neither will I have pity. A third part of thee shall die with the pestilence, and with the famine, and with famine shall they be consumed in the midst of thee. And a third part shall fall by the sword about thee, and I will scatter the third part into all the winds, and I will draw my sword after them. Now, let me jump down. It says, verse 16, when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for the destruction, in which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and will break the staff of bread. So will I send upon you famine and evil beasts, and they shall bereave thee, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. I, Yahweh, have spoken it. And so this is what's coming to pass, man. And this is going to be a global thing, man. Global. Let me get this. Because it was already, the world was on a downturn as far as crop yields. Let me see a yield increase. Isaiah 5 and start 9. In my ears say Yahweh hosts of a truth, many houses shall be desolate, even great and fair, without inhabitant. Yeah, 10 acres of a vineyard shall yield one bath. So that means it's going to be a food shortage. And the seed of a homer shall yield one ephah. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink that continue until night, till they inflame themselves with wine. Until it says till wine inflame them. You see, so the Lord is going to cause a famine. You know, it said the earth is not going to yield its increase unto Esau, Edom, man. You know, people think that this stuff is happening over there and it's not going to come here, man. Hey, man, the Lord can send a strong wind and all those locusts can legit just waft right up over here, man. And this is not the Middle East, man. Here, there's different terrains, places where these things can procreate, man. Look at Florida, perfect breeding ground. The whole East Coast, really, perfect breeding ground. And it'll just sweep across the nation, man. This is what's prophesied in the scriptures. It says, let me see if I can find this. No, I think it's in Apocrypha. Second Ezra 15 and 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Look at Wuhan. Look at China, really. Over 700 million people. Almost 800 million people in quarantine. They can't go wherever the fuck they want. Verse 18, because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy his house with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. That means famine's coming, man. Famine. No eating, bro. Behold, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, in Lebanon, to turn them one against another and repay the thing that they have done to them. You see? So the Lord is gearing up these nations, man. There's more and more tensions. This is all prophecy, bro. Famine is labeled to come back in a big way. It says a man shall eat the flesh of his own arm. Let me get that, and I'll close it on it. Yeah, Isaiah 9 and 20. And it shall, you know what? I'll start up a little bit. Isaiah 9 and 18, it says, for wickedness burneth as a fire, it shall devour the briars and thorns, and shall kindle in the thickets of the forest, and they shall mount up like the lifting up of smoke. Through the wrath of Yahweh hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as fuel for the fire, and no man shall spare his brother. So this is the time that's coming, man. Because iniquity shall abound, the love of, shall increase, the love of many shall wax cold. That's why they're not gonna spare the brother, man, because it's gonna be so evil out here, man. When these famines come, you people, you don't know how to not eat, man. Verse 20, it says, he shall snatch on the right hand and shall be hungry, and he shall eat on the left hand and shall not be satisfied. You see, now having enough, they shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. This is what's going to happen, bro. A lot of people are going to die in a famine, man, such as for death to death, such as for the famine to the famine, and such as for the sword to the sword, as the scriptures say. This is the truth that the Bible deals with. It says it was written within and without lamentation, mourning, and woe. So you people that have this misconception about how the Lord gets down in the world, he sent out men to let you know really how the Lord gets down in the world. And we're seeing things come to pass. We're at the end of these days, bro. It's only a matter of time till the Lord starts to just start taking people in great number. I'm gonna grab that, man. Second Ezra 5:1, it says, nevertheless, as the tokens, the days shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. So the way of the truth that's going into the way of the truth being hidden is going into the famine of the word. He says, how shall a man learn unless he be taught? It says the Lord it says, great is the harvest, but few are the laborers. So when the Lord starts hiding us, hey, man, you people are on your own, man. It's going to be you and whatever death the Lord chose for you. So it behoove you to humble down now, get this word as best you can, pray to the Lord for more understanding that you be able to endure these times, because it says knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of our times, man. Famine of the word is coming, bro. This ain't no game, man. So Lord willing, this is edifying. I want to say, call Allah, Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, Bashim Rakal Kadash. Double honors to elders and apostles, a great millstone, and peace and mercy to hopeful elect. Shalom.